Did you know the refs rigged the game in favor of the Chiefs over the Ravens so Taylor Swift can make it to the Super Bowl? At least, that's what some are insinuating, even though the Chiefs won definitively and were clearly the better team. On top of that, the Ravens played dirty and had a sloppy performance overall, which is why people need to get a grip on reality and accept the fact that the Chiefs were simply the better team. So we gotta talk about that, Mahomes' dad bod going viral, Andy Reid weighing in about Kadarius Toney's Instagram rant, as well as look ahead to the Super Bowl matchup against the 49ers. But first, how about those? First up, Chiefs VIDS is back with another giveaway that I'll touch on more in a bit, because now that the dust has settled and the Chiefs beat the Ravens despite being the clear underdogs, things should be nice and calm now, right? Well, wrong, because people all over the place are still doing what they can to blame the officiating on the fact that the Chiefs won this game. I mean, come on, guys. Most of those penalties the Ravens got were completely justified. The personal fouls, roughing the passer, taunting, all of it. The Ravens' performance honestly reeked of immaturity, lack of discipline, and sloppy play, which was pretty surprising for a team that was so dominant in the regular season and were the clear 1 seed in the AFC. On top of that, the Ravens got away with tripping in their own end zone on Chris Jones. He's actually on the injury report for that, by the way, and that should have been a safety. That's 2 points off the board for KC. Then Trey Smith was called on a phantom hold that negated a Rashee Rice touchdown, so that's 9 points off the board. And of course, there were several more plays you could look at online, including this one where Pacheco was sort of kicked on the Chiefs' failed 4th and 1 attempt in the second quarter. I mean, you could technically also flag Donovan Smith for holding here, but at the very least, that should have been offsetting penalties and a retry of 4th down. Then maybe the Chiefs opt for 3 instead of getting 0. Basically, they should have won this game by at least 17 points, and I could keep going on and on and on, showing you play after play like this, which is what you can do with every single game played in the NFL, which is my entire point. If you can't accept the fact that your team played the worst game, a very sloppy performance that was this close to having 5 turnovers from your offense, I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Loser.
After the game was over, Andy Reid gave lots of props to the defense, as well as Mahomes, Kelsey, then of course the coordinators for keeping morale up during a crazy up and down season. And he also gave props to MVS for his game sealing catch.
MVS is a pitcher of that. So people coming down on him everywhere. He keeps it right there and does a great job with it. I thought he was just phenomenal. That kid, he's taking a beating here, and he was able to just hang in there and battle.
And I, like the rest of you, couldn't believe the scriptwriters chose to end the game on an MVS catch to send KC to the Super Bowl, but shoot, I will take it. After the game, MVS took to social media with a hilarious tweet that showed 2 photos of the Chiefs superfan turned fugitive bank robber Chiefsaholic saying, "At the bank," i.e. the Chiefs robbed M&T Bank Stadium, which was hilarious. Then, of course, the Chiefs did not win that game without DeRuse Sneed perfectly punching the ball out of Zay Flowers' outstretched hands, and Chris Jones made sure to give him lots of well-deserved praise.
It was huge. It just shows the testament and commitment he made throughout the year. The guy's been making plays all year. He had a whole nother dynamic to this defense that I think Spaz was able to utilize.
Patrick Mahomes also gave nothing but props to the defense, saying that when the games get bigger, Spags calls games even better. And of course, that also meant the defense executed the play calls and of course had several very key turnovers on the Ravens, to which Mahomes then said something pretty interesting.
Whenever they're rolling like that, I have to kind of manage my game. That's stuff that I've learned throughout the season is even if we're not having the success that I want to have, the defense is rolling and getting stopped. So let's just take the safe choice, get the ball out of my hand, don't turn the ball over, and let's go win a football game.
Andy Reid also echoed something similar.
Then to manage the game, things that get kind of thrown by the side is him taking a sack there at the end, as opposed to trying to fit the ball in. He took the sack, kept the clock running. Good things happen there.
Well, very interesting indeed. It looks like Mahomes is intentionally adapting his play style due to the fact that the Chiefs defense is the best in the business. Play clean, don't force the ball to risk a turnover, and if you can't score or get in field goal range, do all you can to have your special teams punt the ball and flip the field, because more times than not, the defense is going to hold, especially when opposing offenses have to travel quite a long way in order to score. Mahomes also said he never wants to take this stuff for granted, talking about winning another AFC championship and making it to another Super Bowl, his 4th in 5 years. It's special, especially considering all they went through as a team this season. However, the job is not finished. They've got to prepare themselves to go against a good team in the Niners for the Super Bowl and try and get another ring. And speaking of Mahomes, did you know Patrick's been getting roasted online for his dad bod due to the fact that the NFL recently dropped a BTS video of the Chiefs in their locker room after defeating the Ravens, and this went viral of Mahomes rocking a straight up dad bod. Mahomes himself even took to X/Twitter and said, "Yo, why they have to do me like that?" And then followed up saying like, "I got kids," tagging the Chiefs inside the NFL as well as the main NFL account. And the reactions to this were pretty hilarious. His trainer Bobby Stroop said, "You can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe." Matt Miller said that Mahomes and Jason Kelce are doing more for dad bods than anyone in history. The 33rd team said not to worry because this is just the look of a multiple Super Bowl MVP winner, sharing photos of Eli Manning and Tom Brady. The New Heights podcast even weighed in with a post of their own, and one of the funniest posts I personally saw was from Mahomes' teammate, Chiefs quarterback Chris Oladokun, who said that Mahomes' body was built by Coors Light and Lamar's Donuts. And honestly, as a father of 2 kids myself, I would much rather rock the dad bod. It's much more realistic than anything else. Next up, Chiefs Bids is back with another partnered giveaway featuring this custom Creed Humphrey signed helmet, in which he also wrote out "How about those Chiefs" on there as a nod to the community. And before I explain how you can enter for your chance to win that helmet, I gotta let you guys know that next week's giveaway is gonna be a signed Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl 58 commemorative ticket, which is freaking fire. So definitely stay tuned for that. And also, don't forget to check out the bids portion of the official Chiefs app, which is where Chiefs Bids has all kinds of signed memorabilia from former and current Chiefs players, as well as game-worn items that you can bid on. This week, they have signed AFC Championship commemorative tickets signed by FAU and Trent McDuffie, as well as mystery boxes with those same commemorative tickets. Many are unsigned, but some have a chance of being signed by a random Chiefs player. This week, they also have helmets signed by Dwayne Bowe, George Karlaftis, Isaiah Pacheco, Drew Tranquill, and several others, jerseys from a plethora of players, as well as signed footballs, pylons, photos, and more. So make sure to check out the app every single week as it gets updated all the time. And for your chance to win the signed Creed Humphrey helmet, you'll need to head over to Chiefs Bids private Facebook page. Link is in the description. Join the group. Please accept the group rules, and after you get approved, comment HBT Chiefs on their featured giveaway post that you'll find pinned to the top of the group right here in the featured section. I will announce the winner using a random comment picker on Monday, February 5th, so make sure to head on over to their private Facebook page as soon as you're done watching this video. Comment HBT Chiefs on the featured post for your chance to win that full-size helmet signed by Creed Humphrey. And with that, the Chiefs are now officially headed to their home, away from home, Arrowhead West in Vegas, to face off against the San Francisco 49ers in a Super Bowl 54 rematch. This is Mahomes' 3rd Super Bowl appearance since then, his 4th total, and obviously this is the first Super Bowl of Brock Purdy's young career. This will also be the first time the big game is hosted in Vegas, with the kickoff time being set for 5:30 p.m. Central, so mark your calendars. This will now be the 3rd game in a row that the Chiefs are underdogs, with the 49ers currently being 2-point favorites, with the over-under looking somewhere around 47.5 points, and the money line between both teams looking like this as of earlier today. Interestingly enough, the 49ers are 6-0 straight up as favorites in the postseason under Kyle Shanahan. However, Mahomes is 10-1-1 against the spread in his career as an underdog. And honestly, I am 0% concerned about the Chiefs being an underdog for this reason. They just went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. They traveled to Baltimore and ripped the wings off the Ravens. And I'm not as concerned about the 49ers as I was about the Ravens, if I'm gonna be honest, even though they are basically a super team consisting of several talented superstars on offense and defense, a luxury afforded by the fact that Brock Purdy is on a very cheap rookie deal. So can't overlook them, can't sleep on them, and much respect to them for sure. Then if you look at the head-to-head stats between Mahomes and Purdy in the regular season, Purdy had a great season. He's ahead of Mahomes in most of these stats, throwing for more TDs. Yards has a higher completion percentage, while Mahomes clearly outshines him in the run game. However, if we look at their stats in the postseason, Mahomes has a much higher completion percentage, a higher touchdown percentage, has thrown 0 interceptions, less dangerous passes, and has overall been the better quarterback. Then 49ers defense has allowed an average of 26 points per game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs defense has allowed just under 14 points per game. Of course, KC had to play one more game than the Niners, but you can still conclude that KC is playing better overall at the moment on both sides of the ball, though of course, none of that really matters. The stats, the talk, etc., etc. What really matters is which team is going to show up on game day with the best game plan and have the ability to pivot and execute effectively throughout the game in order to come out with the W. At the end of the day, that is all that matters. From here, the Chiefs dropped an injury report today, albeit it's an estimated injury report because there was technically not a practice today, with the 4 players who would not have participated today being Chris Jones, quad. Hopefully it's just a minor bruise that I'm pretty sure happened when he was tripped in the end zone by Hill. A pretty dirty play by him, to be honest. Anyway, next is Isaiah Pacheco, toe/ankle. Then Charles Omenihu, knee, who has confirmed, sadly, tore his ACL and is done with a move to IR, most likely incoming this week, so they can add somebody else. And finally, left guard Joe Toney was the last who did not participate in this practice that never happened, but he's dealing with a pec strain, and all eyes will be on him to see if he's good to go in the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to bank on it. And again, I'm going to be thankful the Chiefs have a solid veteran in Nick Allegretti, who did a great job in his stead last week. Now, for those who are estimated to have been limited, you had Sky Moore, knee. Sky could return from IR this week or next if his knee is good enough. Then Willie Gay Jr. was next with his neck being listed, who hopefully will have enough time to rest up before the Super Bowl and can play in the big game because we need that man out there. And then cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, calf, was the last limited participant. And that's no real surprise. He's been limited in practice for weeks because of his calf, but it has not affected his on-field performance whatsoever. Then for the full participants, the Chiefs listed Prince Tega Wanogho, quad, who could return from IR before the Super Bowl since his 21-day window to return is opened, just like Sky's. Then there was Blaine Gabbert, oblique, Richie James, foot. I think that's new. Rashee Rice, ankle, Drew Tranquil, knee. That also might be new. MVS, oblique, and Kadarius Toney, personal. And the most intriguing player to me of all those who are estimated to be full participants is going to be Kadarius Toney, who, as most of you know by now, has recently been making his rounds through the news because of his rant on Instagram. It all started the day before the AFC Championship game when Toney was listed as out for the 6th game in a row, but this time for personal reasons. That was reported to be he was going to be there for the birth of his child, which of course is awesome. But then the next day, Toney went on a rant via Instagram Live the morning of the AFC Championship game, basically accusing the Chiefs of lying about his injuries. He said he wasn't hurt, and if anyone has questions, they need to go ask Rick Burkholder about it. Of course, then the day after the game, Andy Reid was asked about it by the media, and this is what he had to say.
I actually haven't seen it. I mean, I've heard people talk about it, but yeah, he'll be back out there, and we'll see how he does. You know, obviously he's been on the injury report, so I mean that's not made up by any means, but he's been working through some things and he'll be back out there.
He's going through some things, Andy said. And while I definitely would agree, I would also be extremely surprised if the Chiefs opted to have Toney dress out and play in the Super Bowl after he publicly accused the team of not being truthful about his injuries. That's a pretty serious accusation. It's also not that far-fetched to believe that Toney is gone after the season and will no longer be a Chief. You guys got to let me know your thoughts on that, though. Do you think Toney should play in the Super Bowl, or should the Chiefs have him be a healthy scratch, especially considering what he went on about regarding the team on Instagram? Then, what are your thoughts about Toney being gone in the offseason? Is that likely, or since he's still on his rookie deal, if they can salvage the relationship, you think he returns? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And before you get out of here, make sure to subscribe to my new HBTC Clips channel, where I take short snippets from my 2-hour live streams and long-form videos and cut them down into very digestible 2 to 3 minute clips. And until next time, let's freaking go. How about those?